In an age long forgotten, when villages were lit only by lanterns and the wind carried stories farther than any messenger, there lived a young boy named Aiden, a fragile soul with tired eyes, but a heart struck by an unbreakable spark. And though everyone around him believed destiny was written only for the powerful, Aiden believed destiny was written by the brave. So he spent his childhood watching the world from the outskirts of his small, quiet village, dreaming of greatness while listening to travelers speak of mountains no one dared climb, storms no one dared to cross, and victories won only by those who refused to bow. And from those stories grew a fire inside him that refused to die, even on the nights when hunger bit harder than the winter cold. But life was not gentle with him. He lost his parents early, worked in fields from sunrise to moonrise, and spent years being laughed at each time he spoke of becoming someone the world would remember. Yet every insult, every failure, every lonely night became another brick in the wall of his determination. And deep inside he whispered to himself, "If the world won't believe in me, I will believe enough for all of them." One stormy evening when thunder roared like the sky was breaking apart, Aiden met an old wanderer who carried scars heavier than any weapon. The man watched the boy working tirelessly to cover his tiny hut from the rain and asked him why fight so hard when life has given you nothing. And Aiden, soaked, shivering but unshaken, simply replied, "Because the world has taken everything from me, except my will." And the old wanderer smiled a smile that carried both sorrow and pride and told him, "Then the world has already lost, and you have already won." And with that he gifted Aiden a small wooden pendant carved with ancient symbols and said, "This is not magic, boy, but a reminder. Greatness begins when excuses end." That night changed Aiden forever. He began training his body, his mind, and his spirit running before the sun rose, reading every scrap of wisdom he could find, practicing with wooden sticks until his palms bled. And every time pain tried to stop him, he held the pendant and whispered, "Greatness begins when excuses end." Years passed, and the once weak boy grew into a man whose eyes carried storms and whose heart carried mountains. But life tested him once more when his village was struck by a massive drought that threatened to wipe away everything he loved. The people panicked, losing hope, giving up. But Aiden refused to watch his home die. So he decided to travel across the desert to the legendary Well of the Ancients, a place no one returned from. But he believed returning wasn't the point. Was. With nothing but a water skin, the wooden pendant, and the fire of purpose, he walked into the desert where the days burned like molten iron and nights froze like forgotten winters. And though he collapsed many times, thoughts of his village kept pushing him up. Days later, dehydrated, bruised, and nearly unconscious, Aiden reached the ancient well, only to find it buried under rocks from centuries of storms. He could have cried, given up, cursed fate, but instead he whispered, "Greatness begins when excuses end." And using the last of his strength, he cleared the rocks one by one until his hands tore open and blood mixed with sand. With a final push, he struck the last stone away, revealing fresh, glowing water beneath. And as he drank, life rushed back into his body like a miracle. When he returned to the village, carrying water and hope, people didn't just see Aiden Day, saw the power of persistence, the proof that even the smallest flame can burn brighter than the darkest night. And from that day forward, Aiden's story became a legend that echoed through generations. A story that teaches us that no matter how hard life hits, no matter how empty your hands or how heavy your past, you can rise, rebuild, and rewrite your destiny. Because greatness never belongs to the lucky, it belongs to the relentless.